Hello everyone, I'm Sharon with Entelechy Visions. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. I invite you to like and subscribe to the channel to get future notifications. Today I wanted to discuss the topic of the energy behind our relationships and the patterns that we do hold within us that impact our connections, and bringing intuitive awareness to them in order to heal these patterns. So many of us can find ourselves caught in cycles that really repeat in our relationships, and they can often feel very draining or triggering or just plain off. You may find that you attract the same kind of person or personality into your life. And this type of person shows up in your life in many different ways, just as different people. And that is shining a light on some deeper patternings that you may hold. We may love people deeply, but we can often feel misunderstood in our connections. Or we give and we give only to feel resentful. Or we crave connection, yet we push it away the moment that it gets too close. So what if we were related to others in a way that we were aware of the energy behind these patterns, behind these connections? Because behind every relationship is truly a field of subtle emotion, unconscious belief, and old conditioning, mostly from our upbringing, in our childhood years when all of that is shaped. In my work as an intuitive, I work with a healing modality that addresses all the layers of the field, the physical, mental, emotional, genetic, and soul level, tapping into the deeper layers of the psychology of the energy field. Because understanding our connections, but understanding our energy body, isn't just about the mind. It's in our body, it's in our soul, and it's in the subtle frequencies that we carry into every single relationship that we do have. From our early years, we absorb the emotional atmosphere around us. We learn what love looks like. We learn what safety feels like, and whether vulnerability is safe or dangerous to us. And these early impressions aren't just mental, they're energetic, and this gets imprinted onto us. And as children, we can internalize our caregiver's energy, our parents' energy, their fears, their coping mechanisms, and even their traumas. And that can shape these different patterns within us, these beliefs, these core wounds that settle into the parts of our field and become these core operating systems, ways for us to behave and shape these coping tools to protect ourselves. We can form beliefs like love means I must earn it, or being seen isn't safe, or my needs are too much. They become part of our field, and it's almost like an emotional blueprint that gets reactivated as we age and we get into our adult years, that we unconsciously attract or we recreate the dynamics that feel the most familiar to us. Not typically because they're healthy, most likely. Those that are shaped around these limiting beliefs aren't necessarily healthy, but because they resonate with our early imprinting and it feels comfortable. Our life and our connections mirror this because like attracts like, and whatever is active in our field is what we magnetize to us. So we're literally attracting the very things that we are holding within because it sits well with us. And these imprints can show up. Often in sessions, I'll see them lying at the roots of our energy centers, shaping an entire operating system, especially around our hearts, our solar plexus area, or our sacral. And these areas really govern that connection with others, our identity, and also our boundaries. Now, the conditioning that we have had in our upbringing is much more extensive because we are conditioned by society as well. And it teaches us who to be, how to relate, whether that's in gender roles or cultural imprinting around love, power, intimacy. And these all create this unconscious tension in our energy field, especially when we're living out of alignment with our true self. Maybe we've adopted certain conditioning that doesn't resonate or sit with us anymore. And that could be along the lines of, why do I always attract emotionally unavailable people? Or why do I give so much and still feel alone? Or why do I sabotage relationships the moment they feel too good? Some of these are some sacrificial or sabotaging patterns that can show up as well. And with those phrases, there's likely an energetic pattern that's running the show beneath all of that. So in this work, we gently trace those roots to those patterns, and we often will come back to moments in childhood or in your upbringing, even pinpointing the ages when they anchored in, when your energy field first adapted some coping tools or methods, ways to keep you safe or to survive, and helping you to unlearn those patterns, those protections, to open up to deeper love, trust, and connection. And ultimately that's coming from your authentic self, to break down those walls, those barriers that have been keeping you protected or safe, but are no longer healthy, no longer truly who you are. And our energy field holds the story behind that story. It remembers everything. Everything that your body, that your mind, and your soul have lived through, even other lifetimes that you've brought into this life with you. So as we tune into the field, we locate where these old stories are, the unprocessed emotions, the protective patterns, and where they are being held. And clearing emotional residue from past experiences, unhealthy relationships that may have been experienced, that may still be active in the field. And then reclaiming aspects of your energy that you may have given away, potentially due to trauma, fear, shame, or any kind of disconnection in the field, and restore the natural energetic balance that is coming from your true self and not from the wounds. So we often believe that in order to change our relationships, that we have to change the other person. And it's really easy to blame the other person and say that they're the ones that are hurting us, when ultimately the true story of our connection always begins within the self. When you are aligned, when your heart is open, when your boundaries are strong and your beliefs are shaped in a way that it's reflecting your worth, your power, your true voice, your relationships will naturally begin to shift. You'll stop attracting lessons, situations, and start attracting something that's resonant with you, with the true you. So healing through the energy field is not about fixing yourself. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. It's about clearing that interference so that your true self, the true you, that deeply connected, expansive, loving, powerful self can really guide your relationships. So if you're moving through a lot in your connections, or you've had a repeated story where your relationships have been unhealthy, toxic, or you can't seem to keep a relationship, or you're currently single and you're looking for ways to connect but can't seem to open your heart and trust again. Your relationships are not broken. Whatever experience you're moving through with connections, they're just reflecting something in your energy that is ready to be seen. It's ready to be understood and to be healed. So the next time that you feel triggered, or you feel disconnected, or you're stuck in a pattern, it's a good opportunity to pause, take a deep breath, and tune into yourself. And ask yourself the question, what part of me is asking to be seen right now? And that is where the real work lies. That is where the real healing begins. And if you need additional support with that, you can learn more at entelechivisions.com, and I'd be honored to walk with you on that path.